On this special episode of UTR, we spend the entire half hour in the historic town of Romeo. We'll show you some incredible homes, an Asian eatery that'll knock your sake off, and a fascinating barn tour that'll make you want to live in one. We'll even take you to a street where Halloween is so incredible every year, you just might want to be a ghost. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? It's coming up right here on Under the Radar, Michigan.
Under the Radar, Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities.
It's human nature to plan ahead, but sometimes our best ideas come when there's no plan at all. When we just go with the flow and let the day unfold as it was meant to be. A day on the water, soaking up the sun. A day we leave up in the air. Yesterday, this was just a last-minute idea. Today, our big surprise is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
And by Big B Coffee, celebrating 18 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, mugs, and coffee by the pound available in store and online. Franchise info available at biggby.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan. Now, if you love history, you're going to love Romeo. Incidentally, you're making some right now.
When it comes to genuine Americana, Romeo is right out of the pages of history, and they preserved it beautifully. And talk about a hometown, when it comes to classically restored historic homes, Romeo makes for a wonderful walking tour through time. Every type of classic American domicile is done up right here. From Greek and Gothic to Victorian and one of my favorites, Italianate, the collection of historic homes will blow your mind. They may look like museum pieces, but the people here actually live in them and love them. If you're hankering for a hunk of history, they've got 3 museums, an opulent opera house, an art center, 2 libraries, and more antiques than you can shop for in a month of Sundays. Not bad for a town of just over 3,500 folks. If you're wondering wherefore art thou, Romeo, well, don't tell Juliet's folks, but it's located in southeast Lower Michigan, about an hour north of Detroit. To get a quick history lesson on Romeo, we thought a good place to start would be at the Clyde Craig Blacksmith Museum for a chat with town history buff and museum curator Richard Beringer.
Why do you think history is so important to Romeo? I've been to a lot of old towns. I live in one, but it just seems special here.
Romeo has always been a very important town in Macomb County. The people that came to Romeo in about 1820, they came here and they were educated people, they were religious people. They started schools, academies. They were good middle-class capitalists. It was a place that people came for summer homes, wealthy people. They built beautiful homes. Then the streetcars came to town, the trains came, enabled products that were manufactured here to be shipped to Detroit. Farmers were shipping their produce to Detroit to feed the people in Detroit. And then finally, our foundries started producing engines for Henry Ford. We made engines, model SN and R engines, cylinder jugs for Henry Ford's cars. And then in 1908, he sent all the plans for the new one-piece engine block. And we made every engine for Henry Ford from 1908, 9, 10, and 11. About 23,000 to 30,000 engines.
Why is the history of this town so special to you?
Well, Romeo's been my personal hobby for about 30 years. And it's just, right now, it's this beautiful historic village with all the beautiful homes, and it's just a great place to live.
Another thing Romeo has is a great downtown with cool shops and plenty of places to stroll, relax, and unwind. They also have some great places if you crave classic cuisine. Yes, here in Romeo, amidst all this authentic Americana, is the kind of food you'd expect to...
Wait a minute. Sushi? What the heck?
Well, you heard right. It's a sushi restaurant that's right downtown and right in the middle of this classic countryside community. How'd that happen? And who's responsible? Meet Dimitri Bonville, a young guy who had a love for this fine foreign food, brought it all the way back to Romeo, and opened Yorokobi Sushi.
Now, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd be willing to bet that you're probably the only sushi chef I will ever meet named Dimitri.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what made you, first of all, sushi and Romeo is like when worlds collide. What inspired you to bring sushi to Romeo?
Well, first, my inspiration comes from a love of fish. I love looking at them, I love catching them, I love eating them. And in Romeo, it's a beautiful little town, and I needed to spruce it up, add a little diversity into culture of foods.
But you're kind of landlocked around here. How'd you get into fish so much?
Yeah, landlocked, it is true. We use True World Distributor. It's #1 Japanese distributor throughout the country. Use AAA grade fish, tuna. Everything is fresh, comes to us, and we know how to take care of it, handle it, to make sure everybody gets the absolute freshest fish possible.
Now, you went all the way, you went halfway to the Orient. You went all the way to California to study to be a sushi chef?
Yes, I went to culinary art school, Sushi Institute of America in California, downtown LA. Trained with Katsuye Yuichi. It's a...
Oh, Katsuyoshi, yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't have no idea.
Anyways, he owns multiple restaurants called Katsuye out in California and some in Nevada and now Las Vegas. He opened up a sushi program, which I enrolled in so I could get the knowledge of sushi before I jumped in, so I knew my people were doing, I could follow them. More or less, I learned a lot from my school. I wasn't very good when I went to school. I got a lot better after working with people that I hired in and learning off what they taught me.
Now, you could have taken the sushi restaurant anywhere. Why did you bring it back to Romeo?
I brought it to Romeo. Down near 10 miles south, there's a lot of sushi bars, different culture restaurants, and up here it's been just very quaint, similar, a lot of bars, a lot of the same thing. I thought bringing it up here, being the most northern sushi bar in Macomb County, and I don't believe anybody can go any farther north to put one. I'm at the top, I believe. And I thought that'd be a good area to capitalize, make sure that I am the man for the sushi up top.
Now, how has the community embraced you? Because this is such a community of Americana and country food, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, did they embrace you right away?
It was really hard. Everybody walks into the restaurants like, wow, you're a white guy owning a sushi bar. And I'm like, listen, not every Mexican owns a Mexican joint either. So, and then it was hard at first. People come in, they try it out. We try to bring a lot of Western design into our sushi, which makes it more comfortable for people. We do a lot of cooked food, a lot of cooked sushi. I believe more than 75% of our menu is cooked rolls. So, we do offer the traditional type of sushi, which is the raw cuts, the sashimi, the nigiri. But we also influence people coming in, trying crispy rolls, is real popular, other things of that nature.
What's the name of the restaurant mean?
Yorokobi means peace and joy. It's in the Japanese kanji. It means peace and joy and happiness. And that's what we try to express. Everybody come in, be happy, have peace, and enjoy good food.
So that's the feeling my tummy will have after I eat your sushi?
That's the feeling your tummy will have after you eat our sushi.
Thank you, Sushi Chef.
Thank you.
Is there really room in Romeo for this cuisine from another continent? Well, we sat down, dug in, and came up with a resounding yes. It just goes to show you that America really is a melting pot of all things edible. Even in this abundance of Americana, you'll definitely want to try the sushi at Yorokobi.
My mom used to tell me that I acted like I was raised in a barn. Well, after seeing some of these barns, I wish I was.
When it comes to good old-fashioned barns, America's had a love affair with these classic structures for hundreds of years. There's just something legendary and romantic about these utilitarian yet majestic structures. We all love them, and we all love to look at them. Then there are those rare individuals who love them so much they take these historic structures, get creative, and make them part of who they are. And every year on the Romeo Historic Society's barn tour, you get to meet these people and experience their unique barns. Mark Lennon is a designer and builder by day, but when he gets home, it's barn raising time.
You must be a favorite on the barn tour, because I don't even know where to start with you. I mean, the nightclub thing, what inspired you to do that?
Well, we built a lot of clubs.
Oh, for a living, that's what you do?
We do. We did a lot of clubs and restaurants, high-end restaurants, bars. And
so you brought work home with you?
You're sitting there doing a restaurant and you're looking at this beautiful sign and I'm thinking, geez, I got a place for that on a wall in my barn, and can I have it? And so a lot of it is just from jobs that I've worked on, and also it's what we do for a living. We go up, people, they come up, they have a building, and they come up and they said, what can you do with this? Can you do something amazing? And we go, yeah. I mean, that's what we're known for. We design and we build.
You're right. I got a TV show and I got TVs all over my house.
Yes.
Go figure.
Exactly.
Well, so you do this for a living. How long have you had this farm here, or this property?
Bought this in about 85.
Oh, you've been here a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've seen pictures of it from before.
Yeah, I saw the nightclub. I saw the picture, the before picture.
It was
I can't believe you even envisioned that.
It was, the barns were falling down. And so what I did is structurally braced them up so they wouldn't fall. And then when I got into doing this exterior stuff, I go, geez, I could put this on all my barns. So I just started sheeting the barns, putting windows in them, foaming it up. A lot of this stuff, pioneering with these window treatments that I did. I made them all in my shop, like on that barn right there with all those Gothic windows. I put all those up in about an hour and a half. It took me a couple weeks to make them in my shop, but they were done. All I had to do was just put them up and mount them.
It's like Thanksgiving dinner. It takes you all day to make it, and you're done in 20 minutes.
Exactly.
What kind of reaction do you get from people when they go into the nightclub barn?
Just like what you did. You walk in and you just go, I think what people do is they go, what is this? That's mainly what they ask me is, why did you do this? and I go, because I like doing it. I mean, I live here. I'd sit there in my living room and I'd run on a treadmill, and I'd be looking out the window at that barn falling down. I start getting ideas. And when you do this for a living, I go, God, I could foam this up. I could do some real cool windows on it. And then it just developed. And then when I got one done, then I went and did that one. And then I went and did that one. And they're all just a little different. And, when I get done with them, I like looking at them and, hopefully, people come by, they come up and they just go, why? And I go, because I just like doing it. I mean, it's, what do you say,
Not too far from Mark's magnificent barns, the tour took us to meet Janine and Darren Clore, a couple who love their barn so much, they actually live in it.
Honestly, did you guys ever think that you'd grow up to live in a barn?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Absolutely not.
Well, I'm confused because you guys have a barn, this one,
yeah,
and you also live in a barn, so you have two barns.
Two barns.
Right, but did you know that was the one you're living in? Did you know that was a barn when you bought it?
We didn't know it was a barn when we looked at it, and then we found out it was a barn when we did the home inspection.
Well, you found an animal in there? What, bales of hay or what?
We went up in the attic to make sure, check the structure and all that, and there was a cast iron hay rail for hay cart up in the attic of the house. And then that explained all the wood beams and stuff like that.
Well, it has so much character, though.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and what you've done in there is absolutely beautiful. What's it like having, on the barn tour, what's it like having people come into your home? Since you live in a barn, is that weird, having people just walk in your house?
It was very exciting. It was very exciting to share it. I think people all want to learn about the history of the area, and we were excited to share that too. Our neighbor talked about how this street was part of the interurban railroad, and about 10 years ago you could see the railroad coming through the street before they repaved it. So it's really neat to share those things. And Romeo Historical Society has taught us a lot about our house as far as how to date things in our house.
What do your friends say when you tell them that you live in a barn?
I don't think they're surprised that I live in a barn.
Well, then I'll ask you, what do your friends say?
A good excuse to leave the front door open, We live in the barn. Everybody's welcome. Everybody loves to come here and visit and stay, and we love that.
Well, thanks for inviting us into your barn home and your home barn.
Well, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Did I say that right?
Works for me.
This fun and fascinating tour took us all around Romeo. And not only did we see some incredibly creative barns, we met some absolutely awesome and proud people. So who knows? Someday you might want to buy a barn, and you're gonna need some ideas. And there's no better way to see what you might want to do than the Romeo Historic Society's yearly barn tour. Believe me, after the tour, you'll want to live in a barn too.
Now, when it comes to the spookiest of all holidays, there's Halloween, and then there's, well, Halloween, if you know what I mean. I'm scared.
And if you'd like to experience the latter of the two, trick or treat yourself to Terror on Tilson Street. This is Halloween in hyperdrive, and people come from all over the Midwest to see it. And believe me, you won't believe it either until you see it for your scared self. That's right, this street is full of some of the biggest and most scariest Halloween displays you'll ever see. But it's also full of people with some of the biggest hearts you'll ever know. And that's because they use the power of Halloween to give back to this great community. I took some pre-trick-or-treat time to talk with the heart and soul of this spooky street, Vicki Lee.
Now, a little Halloween bat told me that you just might be the person who's responsible for making this entire spooky, wonderful thing happen. Is that true?
I don't know. They blame it on me.
Okay, well said. But you've been here, what, 35 years on this street?
Yes.
Yeah. How did it all start?
Well, I think it was normal Halloween. My birthday's Halloween, so my mom would always decorate for me a little special, so when my kids were little, I did the same. And it was maybe a couple corn stalks, pumpkins, scarecrow. That was about it. And then we had about 300 trick-or-treaters at that time, and then younger families moved on, and
so you were doing?
Yeah, and then it just grew more and more each year. Now it's almost the whole street decorates, and 2,000 trick-or-treaters we prepare for.
Well, they say you can almost see it from space, from all the lights and
well,
all
I think so. We should.
What was it like having your birthday on Halloween?
Well, that was the whole point of my mom doing a little special, because it's kind of like a birthday and Christmas, you know.
Right.
Everybody's having fun. So I'm probably one of the few people that can say I've got 10,000 people at my house on my birthday. So
I was just about to ask you, how many people come out to see this?
over the last couple of weeks, I'll bet you we have over 80,000 to 100,000 people down here.
Really? How much candy? You must go through tons of candy.
Well, trick-or-treating, it's not big treats. Can't afford it when you have 2,000. But I don't think they're here for just the treats. So.
And nobody's giving out toothbrushes, right?
No.
Oh.
No. Cough drops one year, the doctor did down the street.
Why do they always do that?
I know.
But what I love about this event is you've taken something that's normally just fun and good cheer, and scary for the kids, but you do a lot of good with this event too.
Yes, we have the Buzzley Memorial Scholarship, which is named after my husband. He had started it as a vocational scholarship, but when he passed away, we put it in his memorial. Yeah. And now we have a pay-to-play scholarship, 2 vocational scholarships in Wounded Warriors. We do an event, which was last Sunday, Kids Kicking Cancer, and these are kids that are being treated and can't trick-or-treat with the normal public because of their treatments. So that we had 120 kids here that day. Wow. And then we have a food drive, normally the last Friday and Saturday before Halloween.
Another thing you do that I love is you actually block off the street so there's no cars going. It makes it safer for the kids.
Halloween night.
Right, and you've got something called the Bulldog
Security.
Right, what is that?
Well, my boys, when I think they were like 14, 15 years old maybe, they still wanted to be involved but felt they were too old to do the trick-or-treating and all that stuff. So what they did, because they were athletes, they got a group of their fellow athletes to come. And because of kids being candy stolen at one time or this or that, now my son's one of the coaches at the high school, and he still brings some of his old football players. They come home from school or whatever, and they're still involved. A lot of them are alumni or little brothers of, the athletes, and they love doing it. They come out and they patrol the street, but they also go and hit the next 2 streets on each side of us.
Now, nobody has to decorate, right? There's no street meeting or neighborhood meeting where you have. It's just good spirit. People saw what you were doing, and it slowly got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where these are the most spectacular exhibits I've ever seen.
And most of them, 90%, I'd say, are handmade.
Really?
Yes. They make all their skeletons over there. Those are all handmade. That's our cost. You go around, you find what you need. I had some blockade fence that I wasn't using, and figured there's got to be a way of using it.
Do you look forward to this every year, or is it just like, oh gosh, it's coming?
Oh yeah, and we get together with our neighbors all the time, year round. We
plot and plan.
Oh man, we call them porch parties, and we end up on somebody's porch or visit. Kind of go a little dormant in the winter months, but we still see each other, and it always turns around to some Halloween thing, But we don't. There's nobody forced to do it. We all enjoy it. For us, it's a free family night, and it's wonderful to see all these families, moms, dads, kids. And the only cost is if they want to buy a shirt or that type thing, and it all goes to scholarship.
It's all for a good cause.
Yes.
So that's what I love about this. It's not just about Halloween, it's about helping so many people and helping kids. And so that I have to commend you for that. That's awesome.
We enjoy it.
Yeah. One last question.
Sure.
What's the day after like?
Well, some of these houses, it's amazing. They will go home at Halloween night.
Yeah.
Next morning, you'd never know there was any decorations.
It's all gone?
Yeah, I don't. Next morning is kind of a slow morning normally.
Well, I'm going out tonight. Guess what my costume is?
What is it?
TV show host.
Yeah, it's a pretty good costume.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It cost me nothing.
Like clockwork, as the day grew dim, the crowds of candy-collecting kids and families converged on this classic community. So I got into full character and set out to scare up some spooky testimonials.
You guys are all here for what reason?
Trick-or-treating.
Well, to get what?
Candy. And money.
And money. So how's your Halloween going so far? You got kind of a grim attitude, don't you? So did you bite this board?
Oh yeah, took a big chunk out of the board and her.
Right, and you're still hanging out with him? He bit your board.
Yes.
So you're Batman.
Yes.
Where are your muscles? And this is mini Batman.
This is Batman in training.
Batman in training? Did you decorate the Batcave this year? And cut. Perfect, thank you. Let me get this straight. You're a beer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, I know a really good dermatologist. I'll get you his number. Yeah. Are those real swords? Okay, I was just wondering. Now show him your muscles. Look at those muscles. Hey, wait a minute. Everybody say Tilson Street. Say under the radar. Ooh. Hi. Hi. Thank you. Oh, you're a crocodile.
No, I'm a dinosaur.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I know. I can guess your costume. You're dressed as cold parent.
That's me.
I knew it. I was that last year.
If you want to treat yourself to a spectacular and charitable Halloween next year, the trick is to get your family to Tilson Street in Romeo. And speaking of Romeo, if you want to step way back in time and even sample some sensational sushi, spend a day in this historic town. And who knows, in a couple hundred years, they may be talking about how much fun you had here.
Hey folks, thanks so much for watching Under the Radar Michigan. I really appreciate it. Look, if you want to know more about what we do, where we go, what we have, go to utrmichigan.com. You can get our brand new book, UTR The First 50. You can get DVDs of our shows. You can get wearables, even this brand new hoodie like the one I'm wearing right here. Pretty sweet, huh? So go to utrmichigan.com. You'll have fun, I guarantee.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities.
Carpools, conferences, microwave dinners. They blur one into the next. We lose ourselves in the fog of everyday life and drift away from what matters. But like a beacon in the night, it finds us. The light of more than 100 lighthouses burning through that fog and beckoning us back to what's real and true. This light shines for us all. This light is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
And by Big B Coffee, celebrating 18 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, mugs, and coffee by the pound available in store and online. Franchise info available at biggby.com. Community Economic Development Association of Michigan, providing advocacy, resources, and training to organizations working to create vibrant Michigan communities. Rogers City and Presque County, miles of pristine beaches and shoreline, historic lighthouses, magnificent waterfalls, scenic parks and trails. Michigan's year-round vacation wonderland.